Okay, so I want to come on here and talk about a few subjects. One being that women and men, we are not rehabilitation centers for scorned men or women um, who didn't work through their childhood trauma. So, like for instance, I'm going to use myself as an example. If I have a mother wound or a father wound, and then I decide I wanted to get married or whatnot, and because I did not deal with that trauma will now show up within my marriage. An example of what the familiar wound can look like when it shows up in my marriage. Now I'm lashing out on my husband or reflecting of that because I've been hurt in the familial unit before I got married. So now when me and my husband have conflict, now I don't know how to navigate it because I may have been used to just sweeping things under the rug, and that's all I know. Instead of expressing and talking about it openly. Another thing, we should not even consider getting married or marry someone if we have not reflected on self. Because anything we don't reflect on within ourselves, guess what? It's just going to show up in our marriage. So if we are dealing with the spirit of perversion, sexual immorality, lust, fornication, which then when you're married is now adultery when you're stepping out and on your husband or your wife, deception, these things begin to show up in the marriage, and then now you're running instead of two becoming one flesh. You all are one flesh in the spirit. So it can show up in the marriage in various different ways and manifest itself when you haven't did the work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get married if you ain't do the whole sweep through of the generational curses or the lineage. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that you should have reflected upon your life before entering into a marriage, because whatever you don't heal or deal with in singleness becomes the giant in your marriage. So, and then your partner now becomes your enemy because you didn't get to the root cause of the rejection, the childhood trauma, the abandonment, the hurt, the pain. So now you make your wife or your husband a target of your pain, and they don't deserve that. So you don't have to be, all the way healed. No. But you do need to be a noble and honest woman. Marriage is the representation of Christ and his bride, the church, the ecclesia. And marriage, I'm learning now what God revealed to me. It's meant to not all be glitz and glam, but it's meant to purify you and bring you to the purest form of who God created you to be. Some places you will not reach unless you have your husband or your wife, because the marriage is the representation. It's ministry. It is the representation of Christ and his bride, the church. And many people hear church, they think like, oh, I'm going to an assembly or a building. No, we are the church. This body that you see, I am the church. You are the church. So we have to live like it, walk like it, talk like it, act like it. You might be the only Jesus somebody sees. And if you are not representing the church well, the bride well, which you are the bride, then how are you supposed to go and make disciples of men if you are just like the world? You can't. So yeah, I would encourage everybody to heal before, or at least start the healing before entering into a marriage. A lot of people want to be married, but so yeah, a lot of people want to be married. They want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage. They don't even know what it means to be married for real. Hot, that will burn you.